We have two important days for Europe ahead of us. These are two big issues that we have to decide today and tomorrow. On the one hand, the further support of Ukraine. You know my position. I want us to use the frozen Russian assets for this. I do not see a better option than exactly that. My impression is that we can come to a result. I understand the concerns that some member states have, especially the Belgian government. But I hope that we can clear them up together and that we can also take a path together from this European Union to show a sign of strength and determination towards Russia and show how necessary this is. This is also shown by the reactions of the Russian president in the last few hours. The second big issue that we have to decide today and tomorrow is the approval of the European Union to the agreement with South America, the Mercosur Agreement. As a reminder, this has now been negotiated for 25 years. Now it's time to make a decision. If the European Union wants to remain credible in trade policy around the world, then decisions must now be made. And the decision can only be that Europe agrees and that the Commission President and the Council President travel to South America tomorrow and sign this agreement. I very much hope that this agreement will succeed today and tomorrow. I am confident, but we will have a longer discussion on both issues in the European Council today. From my point of view, this is indeed the only option. We are basically faced with the choice of using European debt or Russian wealth for Ukraine. And in my opinion, it is clear that we have to use Russian wealth. By the way, it has finally been immobilized for a week now. This means that Russia can no longer use this wealth. And then, we should use it as the Commission suggested, namely with a corresponding loan, so that we can support Ukraine, if necessary, for the next 2 years. Thank you very much.
The whole idea is a stupid one. To take away the money of somebody. There are two countries which are in war, yeah? It's not European Union, Russia and Ukraine. And somebody, European Union, would like to take away the money of one of the warriors party and then to give it to another one. It's a marching into the war. So the Belgian Prime Minister is right. We should not do that.
I think that the frozen Russian region is dead. Last night I saw that there are enough opposing countries for the amount of votes to come together, which here is called a blocking minority. So I think this is a dead issue. Maybe they will not run out again, but there is no chance that there will be a majority. So I think this is out of the agenda. Although maybe there will be more fights in the future, but I think this is the end of it. We have to start again. The whole question is how to move forward. We do not know yet what other recommendations will come instead of the dead, frozen goods. I have also heard a lot of things. I have spoken to people who are close to the fire, but no one has ever said that there will be a new one instead of the dead concept. In Hungary, the constitutional situation is very clear. There is a section in the constitution that says that the Hungarian government can only apply parliamentary authorization to such a credit record, which creates a financial obligation for Hungary. I do not have such an authorization, and I do not think that any prime minister in Hungary has ever received an authorization from the parliament to tax Hungary through a European Union credit. So for Hungary, the way to finance Ukraine from a common credit is impossible. But I would not agree with it beyond the legal limits, because I think we should not finance the war, but peace. I am trying to achieve here today that we take steps towards peace, and not in the direction of war. While we are fighting our own battles here, there are also serious clashes in the European Parliament. Yesterday they discussed the recommendation, which I think is unlawful, but let's put it aside for now. the recommendation to ban the use of Russian gas and oil for all member states. This means that for Hungary, if this happens, the budget cannot be protected. In that case, the budget of the families will increase by at least 2, but rather 3 times. It was a very big battle. There was Tisza, who stood by Hungary as a representative of Fidesz KDNP, who fought for Hungary. The others, unfortunately, did not. Tisza, on the other hand, was straightforward, so he chose the solution that I was not here. About the economic sanctions, the farmers are 100% right. They have 2 problems at the moment. Their first problem is a package called Mercosur, which would be a free trade agreement with Latin American countries, which kills the farmers. So Hungary is one of those countries that does not support Mercosur. We thought a lot about what would be good. There were serious professional disputes in Hungary. In the end, the Hungarian position was that we do not support this. A decent majority would be needed here as well, and I see that we are enough opponents of Mercosur, and it would be unwise to sign this agreement. The plan is that the chairman of the committee would want to sign it by next week. I think we have to do this now, and we can prevent it. The other problem for the farmers is the Green Deal, which means that they over-regulate agriculture, that is, agricultural work, which means serious costs and a competition deficit. So I have to say that with the Mercosur agreement, they shoot the European farmers in the foot, so that they have no chance in a global competition. So the farmers are completely right. The Hungarian government is 100% with the farmers. I am glad that Hungary has not been left out of this, and the Hungarian farmers are here as well. Well, ask the Russians. The Russians are still in the midst of a tragedy. The basic situation is the following. There are 2 countries that are at war with each other, Russia and Ukraine. We are here, the European Union, and the plan is that we take away one war-torn sector's assets and give them to the other war-torn sector. This is nothing more than a message of war. Overexpansion is what we have a mandate for. We should not interfere in this war, we should stay out of it and work for peace.
Because I would not like to see a European Union which is in war. To give money means war. Yes? Why is it in war? Sorry?
Are Russian frozen assets still on the agenda today?
I think it's killed. It's dead end. It's over. There is no sufficient high-level number of support behind it.
And are you acting in Europe's best interest or Moscow's?
Sorry?
Are you acting in Europe's best interest or Moscow's?
I'm just working for the peace, because I think what we have to do to make some steps to the peace, not to the war.
We have one ultimate goal in this European Council, and that is peace for Ukraine, peace through strength. And for that, Ukraine needs to have a secure funding for the next 2 years, the year 26 and 27. It is good that the European Council has committed itself last time that we will close the financing gap of Ukraine for the next 2 years. We're speaking about 137 billion euros that are necessary. It's the estimate, our own estimate, and the estimate of the IMF. And we have committed to cover 2/3 of it, 90 billion euros. I have made 2 proposals, 2 options on the table for this funding. One is funding through the EU budget, borrowing against the budget, and the second possibility is the reparations loan. So today we will have the discussions about which one of the 2 we will use. It will be intensive discussions. For me, the most important part is that at the end of the day, we have secured the funding for Ukraine for the next 2 years.
Are you confident that you will go to Brazil to sign the final Mercosur?
We will also have a discussion on geoeconomics today, and this is a discussion about our vulnerabilities, our competitiveness, our global competitiveness. And here is clear that our over-dependencies are a stumble stone to competitiveness. We have to get rid of our over-dependencies. This is only possible through a network of free trade agreement, and therefore Mercosur plays a central role in our trade agreements. It is potentially a market of 700 million consumers, like-minded countries that want free trade together in Mercosur. So it is of enormous importance that we get the green light for Mercosur and that we can complete the signatures for Mercosur.
What are you going to say? What are you going to say to Belgium?
I cannot hear you.
Are you confident that Belgium might agree? Is there enough for them?
I totally support Belgium that they insist on having their concerns and worries accommodated. And we are working day and night with Belgium, and I want to thank the Prime Minister for his personal engagement here. It's absolutely understandable, and I support that if we take the reparations loan, the risk has to be shared by all of us. This is a matter of solidarity, a core principle of the European Union.
What happens if there is no agreement today on the frozen assets? What happens then?
We have to find a solution today. The President of the Council said, and I support him in that, we will not leave the European Council without a solution for the funding for Ukraine for the next 2 years. And the two options, one of them then has to be agreed in the European Council. I fully support Belgium's demands and asks that the risks that come with reparations loans are shared by all of us. This is the principle of solidarity and the principle of the European Union. And I want to thank the Prime Minister for the intensive work we've done together in the last weeks to identify the risks, to talk about the open questions, but also to come with solutions. This is a work that is ongoing, but a full support for our Belgian friends.
Is there anything left on Belgium?